Good afternoon, Sasha Bhasin. Welcome on VH Berries.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I am extremely grateful because your voice is leaving a stamp in the ink of a coming of age anthem that feels both intense and undiluted. And so far, you turned that truth into a scene we all recognize with a blend of character, courage, and craft. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for those kind words. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Sasha Bhasin. And this first day of the week is very special. Not just because Easter Monday invites us to chase chocolate eggs, but because it also makes me wonder if switching my chocolatarian lifestyle for human flesh is worth it, if it means becoming the famous cannibal.
That's great. I mean, if you want to, I'm so happy that the famous cannibal is being brought up on this wonderful Monday.
I would love, Sasha Bhasin, to discuss about that new debut single that came out on March 27 through Dead Zero Records on Spotify and Apple Music. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
About the song and just my artistry in general, I'm pretty new to the music industry. It's something that I had always wanted to do since I was very young. I was always very passionate about music and songwriting and instruments, and music has always touched me in a way that no other art form has. And recently, after I got off of my last acting project, which was The Pit, I went down to Mexico where my friend Dan, who I went to college with, has a record label, Dead Zero Records, and we pretty much spent a little over a week just in the studio making music, trying to find my sound and collaborating in this really beautiful way to intermingle these Indian instruments, because I'm Indian origin, and Indian music has always spoken to me and touched me in such a deep way, in the same way that Western music has. And we were able to combine these elements of me, because I am from here. I'm from the US. I live in New York, but my roots are Indian. So we were able to combine these two worlds in a beautiful way in The Famous Cannibal, which is my debut single. And it is truly, it's a bit of irony. It's a bit of poking fun at Hollywood, but in a exciting way, because the lyrics are kind of dark, and the lyrics we're pretty much talking about a cannibal that walks down the street and everybody loves her. And I think that that's kind of what happens in the world today with with celebrity culture and social media culture. But it's just a lighthearted song about this industry that I am lucky enough to be in.
Absolutely, Sasha Bhasin. You traveled abroad to find your sound, and you found it because you are doing experimental pop style through a gothic lens. What is your definition of gothic?
My definition of gothic, it's whatever, I mean, I'm a very goth person from since I was a teenager. I mean, I may not look it, but I think it just has to come with letting things touch you very deeply and being very emotional and wearing your heart on your sleeve, but also being strong and moving through the world. And I mean, I've been inspired by the punk scene a lot, in New York, and as well as Gothic art and architecture. And that's a hard question. Gothic to me is just ornate darkness, I think, is the best way to put it.
This is the best way to put it, Sasha Bhasin. And in your own words, the Sasha songs also feels like perfume, with lingering, captivating, and evoking emotions.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually trying, the way that my music being like perfume actually came to be, and why that's a description that I really love, is because when I was trying to figure out my artist's name for my music, I couldn't decide if I wanted to use my name Sasha because I'm an actress, so when you look me up, it's all my acting credentials. I couldn't figure out if I wanted Sasha Bhasin to be my artist name, and I went through a bunch of different names. Perfume was something that I thought was really cool. Dreams by Victim was another name that I was playing with, and me and Dan were talking about. But right before we released the song on Spotify, I had called Dan and I'm like, no, it just needs to be my name. It just needs to be Sasha, and that's it. But the concept of my music being like perfume is because I don't really take myself, this might be crazy to say, but I don't take myself so seriously as a person, as an artist, as whatever. I think creating art should be fun. I think life should be fun. I think everything is a wonderful play that we're in. And even with the music, it's not here to change the world and break barriers and boundaries and do something really deep and heavy and complicated, which a lot of amazing artists have done in the past. That's just not what I'm doing. I'm here for my music to make perfume, to make something that smells good, that lingers in a room, that is just an added fun layer to the atmosphere.
Moreover, Sasha Bhasin, that song called The Famous Cannibal is a brilliant piece of art, and after that single release, we now need an instrumental, acoustic, live stadium, radio edit, and remix with a Rising South Florida Pier version.
I mean, I would love to do that. I think that since I am still so new to music, and there are a few other songs that I have on the docket that are going to be released over the next few months for my EP, because that's the plan. We made a few songs down in Mexico, and I really like the work, and I really like what it is. So hopefully I get to make an acoustic instrumental, version soon, but I don't know. I think that'll come when I'm maybe a little more established.
Absolutely, Sasha Bhasin. It will come with time. And that single is a rising anthem that is setting a new trend. And I might surf the wave by releasing my song called The Well-Known People Eater or The Unpopular Vegetarian.
I love that, and I support that for you. And then we can be on stage together with the acoustic version.
Definitely, Sasha Bhasin. And concerning that single, one very striking element is the cover poster with that purple and indigo tint. Can you tell us a little bit more about that visual element?
Yeah, I wanted to create something that was striking, but again, like something that I really always want in my artistry is it to not be contrived. There's that Italian word sprezzatura, which I love, and I kind of keep in the back of my mind, where it's like the making something that took a lot of work seem effortless. So that photo was taken by Johnny Marlowe out in LA, and this part of the shoot it was towards the end of the day, everybody's tired, and I'm just like, let me just sit on the floor and just and just make faces and be a brat, and that beautiful photo was captured, and I liked it in color, but something about it being in purple, which is one of my favorite colors. I love violet. I love the word violet. I love purple. I love lavender. Just something about that color really excites me. And I wanted the cover to really represent me. And the name of the debut album is Hollywoodland, because the whole idea of me making music and creating this EP happened when I was out in LA for the first time just last year. And it something about being there and being in Hollywood and walking down streets where legends have walked down, it just inspired me. And I knew that title was created before the photo was even taken. And I just love that it was all able to blend together. Right.
It was all able to blend together, Sasha Bhasin. And concerning the lyrics of that particular song, there are two sentences that held my breath. And the first one is, Hollywood wants me to eat the world. And the second one is, feeding on your broken thoughts, while my conscience eats me up. And I feel that the second sentence could be the kind that appears in Pravena Bhakti secret journal when she talks about her relationship with Juliana Porter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pravina is a character that I love and is so near and dear to my heart, because she really is the part of me that is truly the eternal, confidence that she has, and the way that she recognizes her own power and her worth, honestly, is it's amazing to me, and I love playing Pravina. And yeah, the Famous Cannibal, it was right after Korea that I was back home in New York for a few days and for a few weeks, and then off to LA. And when you put on a character, it kind of stays with you. And I was playing Pravina for months on end, and she's definitely still with me. And when I need some inner power and inner strength, and when I want to feel smarter, because I think she's a lot smarter than I am, I try to channel her in any situation that I'm in.
Absolutely, Sasha Bhasin. You're channeling that character energy on multiple occasions, and I would love to discuss about that television series called XO Kitty. That is a spin-off of the To All the Boys I Loved trilogy. Can you tell us a little bit more about that very fresh project that you completed recently?
Yeah, I mean, XO Kitty is such an amazing show. The To All the Boys I Loved Before franchise was so huge and touched so many people. I mean, I remember waiting for the second and third movies to come out because it was so real, and to see an Asian girl as a leading role and be to be romantically desirable was amazing. I mean, growing up, I grew up on Gossip Girl and the CW, where it wasn't often people of color and that were seen as romantically desirable. So To All the Boys really changed the world. And then to have the spin-off XO Kitty, where they take it, as the writers and the creator Jenny Han takes it a step further in a way to include the LGBTQ community. It's amazing. It's a young adult show, but it's changing the world slowly because it's allowing young people to see themselves represented, to kind of look to these characters that may be mirroring their own journeys when they're figuring out their sexualities and who they like and who they don't like. And it's about, I mean, Kitty is always making a mess, and it's about giving yourself grace, because we all do that. And especially when in high school, it's all a mess. It's all crazy. So I love what the show stands for and represents. And I'm just so blessed that I was brought on as Indian representation, to represent a queer Indian girl and who is desirable. I mean, this just, it doesn't happen. It didn't happen when I was that young, when I was like 13 or 14. I never saw shows like this. So I really, it's amazing. My heart like overflows when I talk about this.
Absolutely, Sasha Bhasin. You are very proud of seeing that character, Pravina, entering the KISS, which means the Korean Independent School of Seoul. Can you tell us a little bit more about that new storyline when you are appearing on season 2?
Yeah, I mean, I was added to the cast as playing Pravina Bhakti for season 2, and the storyline goes, Kitty was, trying to explore her bisexuality, which she just realized that was very real in her life, and then she meets Pravina, who is queer and who is confident and comfortable in her skin, and I think in a way Kitty wants to feel that way, but she is Kitty, so her heart kind of goes in so many different directions and pours with love that she ends up making a mess, and she breaks Pravina's heart. And then Pravina and Juliana, sorry for the spoiler, but they end up being together at the end of the season, which I think is really beautiful. These two characters that, kind of got screwed over by their significant others, end up together. And I think that's a full circle moment. And Kitty's left to reflect her new feelings for Minho, and Yuri is in a tight, difficult situation. But yeah, that's pretty much a breakdown of the storyline.
This is a breakdown of the storyline, Sasha Bhasin, with that full circle moment. And throughout that season 2, I noticed an accessory always following Pravina, which is her pair of headphones. And I'm always imagining her listening to the Famous Cannibal by Sasha.
And you know what? I think that's exactly the music that Pravina listens to. I think it's upbeat punk, has a meaning to it, but it's not screamo or anything. I think she's absolutely an experimental micropop girly.
Absolutely, Sasha Bhasin. And this is an additional reason why you need to drop as soon as possible all the versions that I mentioned, so she doesn't get bored.
I will work on that. I will go back and cook on that.
As a matter of fact, that television series called XO Kitties is taking place on multiple locations. Can you tell us a little bit more about working, for example, during that school assembly, on the dance floor, but also in open air market, in dorm room, and also on an outdoor, on-scene style bath?
Yeah, I mean, the sets were amazing and a lot of the locations were real. So when we were shooting in the school, the interior was actually a college, I believe, that they had you put Kiss stuff on the walls, and it was all like, it was really amazing to see. When you walked into that school, it looked like Kiss because it was all Kiss branded. Everything on the walls, all down to the posters and down to the papers on the desk, had the Kiss logo on it, which was amazing. And the classroom was in there, which is the class, the music management class that Kitty and I were in together. Kitty and Pravina were in together. It was really cool. And then the ski cabin was a real location. We were up in the mountains for weeks, shooting that. And it was beautiful. It really was stunning. And that's where the hot tub was, because the hot tub was really part of that house that we shot at. And the open market, they built that set outside. I don't even know where we were, but they built it outside. And the heist scene where we're breaking in, that was a real library archival building. So the ExoKitty team used a lot of real sets, which I think is so cool. I think the only thing that was done on like an actual built soundstage was the airplane scenes with Kitty and Minho, and then the dorm room scenes with the girls and the boys. Their dorms were all sound stages.
Absolutely, Sasha Bhasin. And filming in the school setting might have reminded you some memories from the past inside that Garden Spot High School from the feature film Brave the Dark.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. You're good. Yes. Geez, it actually did, because when I was shooting Brave the Dark, I remember we were shooting in a real high school where Stan Dean had actually taught, and we were sitting in the same classroom, which was really his classroom. And I remember when I was on that set, I'm like, oh my god, this is so weird. I'm back in a high school. And that feeling was just overwhelming, that it was a different experience, because it was a true story, Brave the Dark, and it was so touching and so amazing. And the real Nate Dean, who the story is based, it's his life story, was a producer on the project, and he sat in those chairs and he walked down those halls. And the real Tina, who I played, Tina Baxter, really went there and really sat there, and that just brought a different level of energy. And I think it's a bit different. There's a different level of stress that comes along with portraying a true story, because you always want to make sure that you're doing the story justice, the characters justice. It's not like ExoKitty where you're living in this beautiful imaginary fantasy world of Kiss, and you can really do what you want with the character and take liberties. It was all real, and I loved that project, and I'm so lucky that I was able to be a part of it.
It was all real, and that location from the feature film Brave the Dark really implemented a different energy. And I would love to discuss about Tina Baxter, because she is one of your very first leading role. Can you tell us a little bit more about that coming of age drama that is set in the 80s in rural Pennsylvania, a story that is also inspired from the true story of Nathan Williams?
Yeah. Oh my god. It was the first real project actually that I was ever a part of. It was the first set where it's SAG, which is like the Actors Union, was a part of that, and there are directors and makeup artists, and it was a production, you know, it was a real film. And when I booked it, I don't think I realized that because I was still freshly new to acting. I was so young, and I'm speechless talking about it, because it's such a special thing when you get your first, you know, not that it was my first project ever, but when you get your first serious role. That, I mean, the film just released in theaters, and it was doing really well at film festivals, and it's just unbelievable. And playing Tina was a blessing. I mean, she's a golden girl, and like you said, this film took place in the 80s, so the costume was amazing, and the hair was all curly. I looked just like my mom when she was growing up, and it was awesome. I mean, I'm speechless, because it's such an emotional experience to finally be recognized for the thing that you work on so hard, and for me, that's my acting. So yeah, I'm just so lucky to have been a part of that project and have been able to see it through. And actually, it was really funny. I knew it was coming to theaters, but I didn't know when, and I didn't know which theaters. Or I did know when, but I didn't. Okay, so the story is, I was sitting in the Regal on Essex, and I went to watch, I don't know, some random movie, because I have a Regal pass, that unlimited movie pass, because I'm watching movies all the time. That's my favorite thing to do. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing a trailer, and I'm like, wait a second, this looks kind of familiar. And then it was my face on the movie screen, because it's a preview for Brave the Dark, and I yipped. I was like, yeah, in the theater, which was so weird. I don't think the other patrons appreciated that very much, but it's just an unreal experience as an actor to see yourself on screen, sitting in a movie theater watching. Like, that is stuff that I've manifested, and I play it in my head when I'm going to sleep, but then it actually happened, and I'm like, oh my God, life is amazing, and I'm very grateful and blessed.
If I understood correctly, Sasha Bhasin, you dropped your popcorns on the floor during that moment.
Essentially, I yelped, and I kind of jerked, and I don't know, I had a drink in front of me, and it definitely spilled a bit, and it was just because it's shocking. I didn't expect to see myself. I went to go see other actors, and I ended up seeing myself on screen. It's just the best kind of feeling ever.
This is the best kind of feeling and surprise, Sasha Bhasin, and I found that your performances is adding depth to the movie narrative, because you're highlighting the complexity of young love when they are faced with adversity. Can you tell us a little bit more about the preparation for Tina Baxter, and also the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, I mean, Tina, when I booked Brave the Dark, I had just started my career. I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm not a trained, in the sense of, I haven't been to a conservatory or gone and gotten a degree in acting. I just kind of figure things out as I go. And with Tina, that was definitely the process. I didn't have a process at that time, and I still don't really have anything specific that I do, but I saw the character description where she's just a kind of a popular golden girl dating this guy, and I wanted to do something with it that had depth, and that really honored the real Tina who was going to that school. And I think that a lot of the times there's an archetype of like the popular girl, and we've seen it in so many different films, and I think that that's really one-dimensional. And with Tina, I wanted to make her a girl, just a girl who liked a boy and who was dealing with a lot and wanted him to like her back and be honest with her. And I drew on my own personal experiences from that and just worked on the script. And I I did the best that I could. I think looking back now, it's hard to watch because I'm like, I should have done this better, and I could have done this, and why is there I just wasn't, it was my first real experience on set, and there were so many things now, like in hindsight, that I could have done to round out the character more and make the on-camera technique of it better. But I'm very hard on myself when it comes to that. But the prep for Tina was just organic, reading the script over and over again, and reading the role over again, and talking to Nate and Damien, the director, and just trying to make sure I'm doing everybody justice.
Doing everybody justice, Sasha Bhasin. And that character, Tina Baxter, took you out of the NYU politic field, but we were 2 fingers ahead of never seeing that. If private detective Janet Jones from It Starts with Murders had been on board.
Yeah, that was a really random project. That was fun. I mean, I was living in Soho at the time in school, and I had a roommate, and my roommate had a friend who was a director, and I think I just had woken up one day and there were a bunch of people in the apartment, like with sound things and cameras and boom boxes, and I'm like, what the heck is going on out here? Like, what are you guys doing? And I was talking to the director of that project, Sam, and she's like, do you want to be this character who just plays the roommate? And I'm like, well, yeah, because I mean, I am the roommate. How hard could it be? And I don't even know. I think I had one scene in that, and I don't even know if it made it to the final cut, but it was fun. I was happy to do it. It was really random.
It was, Sasha Bhasin, a random experience, and I hope that the crew entering your apartment when you just woke up didn't took some food of yours from the fridge or use your toothpaste and other things in the home.
Who knows? They were loud. It was dirty. It was crazy. We all became friends at the end of the project. But yeah, weird, very New York kind of scene that would happen. Like, that's just a classic New York random shenanigan that just goes down. So...
Absolutely, Sasha Bhasin. And to give more context about that project called It Starts with Murder, this is a film noir that is a mystery comedy about an eccentric detective living out her campy 1920s fantasy. And this is also a symbolic project because the short film is 20 minutes and 20 seconds long, and it was released on the year 2020.
I think you might know more about the project than I do. Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. Long time ago, very, I should check in with everybody on that project, but yeah.
Absolutely. This project is now a great memory and a piece of your artistic journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was that cohabitation that led to that bilateral agreement to include the Bhasin fingerprint into the short film. But at that time, it was the Sashi fingerprint.
Oh, yeah. I had changed my name so many times. I mean, like my stage name. I don't know what I was doing. I mean, I started off like as an actor with Sachi, I think was my name. And then I'm like, okay, Sachi's not working. Let me do it to Sasha Olivia, Alivia. And I told everyone that was my name. And I mean, I've been doing this since middle school. Like, I remember I like was obsessed with Twilight, and I told everybody to call me Bella for like 2 years. Bella Basit. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's an identity crisis or just for funsies. But now I am Sasha Bhasin. I'm going to stay that way. Like, even with my music, I wanted to change the artist name, but, you know, I think it's just about, I am me, I am Sasha Bhasin, and that's it. That's all we're getting.
This is your self-identity crisis. And in conclusion, I am looking forward to hear your upcoming singles that will eventually, and I hope, lead to a furbished and gleaming EP or album, as I am looking to integrate the Sasha music in my routine every morning like a perfume. Thank you very much, Sasha Bhasin.
Thank you so much, and I'll get you more music soon, I promise.